Hello, everyone, and welcome to this amazing project called Be the Change. I am so excited that you have purchased this product and that you are going to use this with your students. You have definitely gotten yourself into something big, but it's also something life-changing for your students. Be the Change is a project that pushes students to really think about how they fit in the bigger picture of the world. It's a wonderful project to use with students in grades 7 through 12. I'd say the older the students, probably the better suited they are for this type of a project, but I'm going to share lots of modifications and ideas that will make this project powerful no matter where your classroom is in the world, no matter what age students you have, and no matter their ability level. This is an inclusive project that really pushes students to be thinking critically, participating in the world around them, and really just working on their English language arts skills in a whole new way. This screen you'll see at the beginning of each of our training videos, and this is one of the things that I like to start with my students is showing them the actual quotation from Mahatma Gandhi, what he actually said about change. This is what he actually said: "We but mirror the world. All the tendencies present in the outer world are to be found in the world of our body. If we could change ourselves, the tendencies in the world would also change. As a man changes his own nature, so does the attitude of the world change towards him. We need not wait to see what others do." And I love this version of the quote rather than the "be the change we wish to see." That's a really kind of watered down version of his actual message. This message is so much more powerful. We mirror the world. Our actions are a reflection of the world around us. And if our actions are not what we want them to be, they're not savory, they're not helpful, they're not up community minded, then that means the rest of the world's going to look the same way. We have to be the change that we want to see in the world, but we, no matter what we do, whether we change or whether we don't, we will mirror the world. And that's, I think, a really cool thing to start with students thinking about: what does it mean to be the change? So this video is going to be focusing on the green box. You guys are in video 1 on the teacher's guide to be the change. We're going to focus on really just kind of an overview of the project, some gateway ideas, what Genius Hour actually is, some planning ideas, and then of course getting other teachers on board, how important that is to really build community around this project. So let's go ahead and get started. So getting started, I want to talk to you about some gateway activities. The younger the kids, probably the easier it is for them to have buy-in. The older the kids, sometimes you've really got to sell this project to them at the beginning. They hear long project, big project, and they kind of start to tune out. And so really selling them on the energy and enthusiasm and beauty of this project is critical from the beginning. I love to begin this unit with a poem from Shane Koyczan. He's got great pieces. I'm sure most of you have heard to this day. Atlas is currently one of my absolute favorites. I'm going to play a little bit of Atlas for you right now. You can find it on YouTube, but I want you to see a little tiny bit of it. It's long, but I want to take you to the end, toward the end, just so you can get a feel.
Rain, that's just how they hold one another. I began to see how the earth and sky need each other, but I wondered about us. In this perfect design, where do we fit? Which piece of the puzzle are we? Like constellations, I began to see a connection between dots. I numbered my thoughts and drew lines from one to the next. I began to see us in the context of a bigger picture, sharpening the blur slowly into focus. We are Atlas. I saw.
So I love to begin with this metaphor. We are Atlas. We are shouldering the responsibility of this world. And we actually spend a few days really digging into this poem, highlighting the metaphors, talking about the meaning, talking about the themes, and then applying it to the project and how Be the Change is all about us doing one little thing to help shoulder that burden. And actually in the poem later, he says that we shouldn't look at the world as a burden, but as an opportunity, as a responsibility. and something that we take pride in. So it's a really beautiful thematic opening. There is one F-bomb at the beginning as a warning. It's pretty funny adult-wise, but for your kids, if you're not cool with that, make sure that you censor that out. But this is a beautiful way to kind of jump into the project. Of course, there's also To This Day, which is about bullying. How to Be a Person is another great poem about kind of like the legacy you want to build in your life. These are all beautifully done. Shane Koizen is a really inspirational and awesome poet to open this unit. There's lots of other ways you can get into it, but that's what I'm going to give you as my number one suggestion. As far as Genius Hour goes, I'm actually going to take you guys out of this presentation and show you a really good website. It's in your handbook, so you'll see it in there as well. But this is a great place from overview from Teach Thought. And Teach Thought's got this great post. I want to look at this image with you guys so you can see on the left-hand side what Genius Hour really is. And you can call this Genius Hour, you can call this a project. It doesn't matter what you call Be the Change, but if you are trying to sell it to your team or sell it to admin, you could definitely categorize this as a Genius Hour project. So it's very student-centered. It's a little bit messy. You'll see with the handouts and the things that you've gotten from me, a lot of them are templates, right? You need to put your thumbprint on this project. This is not a print and go and you're done. You can sit back and watch the kids work. But I'm assuming because you bought this, you're a really innovative and creative teacher, so you're all about that. So it's going to emphasize inquiry and research. That's a huge part of Challenge to Change. Students are identifying a problem, asking a question about that problem, and then researching to find the answer. So that's a huge part here. It's authentic, right? It means it matters to the rest of the world. It matters to the students for real. It presents new challenges. It's inherently personalized, right? They're choosing their own passion. It's definitely creative. It's driven towards solving a problem. And then, of course, it's maker friendly, and it's also collaborative and social. It is all of these things. It is something over here. Genius Hour says it's not technically standards based. I will offer you a list of standards, of Common Core standards, actually, that happen to be great pairings with this project, but the project was not designed to fit standards. The standards just happen to be really conveniently aligned with the project, but we all know good teaching is way paramount to what the standards ever say, no matter what standards you follow. Data, I could care less. The only data that we really track in this project is some goal setting. So that's student data. So they're trying to set goals for themselves. Certainly, it's not free time. The kids are always designing and working and researching and asking questions. The teacher-centered part does. This is a little bit off balance with what Genius Hour is. There's a lot of teacher-centered logistics from the beginning, getting the kids to understand what the parameters and the frame of the project are. So it's not quite as free as a purely Genius Hour project is, because what you're trying to do with Be the Change is build a conference or build a festival where students are presenting to the community. And so there has to be some teacher leadership as far as getting the kids to an end product that's really, really purposeful and rigorous. It's definitely, this is a rigorous project, even though you're not chalking, you're going to see the rubric. It's really clean, really simple, but that doesn't mean that it's not rigorous. There's tons of structure, and it definitely is enhanced by technology, but doesn't require it. And then this is just something that's really, really helpful. So this is all the things that Genius Hour is not. This is all that it is. There's, of course, a great article below. There's another great list and a video that will explain to you what Genius Hour is in general, if you would like to take a look at that. Some rules and how it all qualifies to be Genius Hour. For me, I think that's definitely what this is, but we don't use that language at our school. So let's keep going. All right. Where were we? All right. To This Day, Atlas, How to Be a Person. Okay. So logistical planning, this is to me about a 3-month-long project. I will do Challenge, Be the Change for about 5 or 6 lessons and then move on to normal content. And then they're working on the piece that I set them up with in those first 5 or 6 days. You certainly could do Be the Change every Friday of the school year. You could do it every Friday of the second semester. You could do it Thursday and Friday of second semester. You could do it in whatever chunks you like to divide it. But I think that spaced out over 3 or maybe even 4 or 5 months, you'll get the most out of your students. I think longer than 4 or 5 months, the students start to kind of lose interest, or it feels too dragged out. But with these are the kind of the core components. So month 1, I would have your students make sure that they get through the learn stage and the write stage. That's stages 1 and 2. In month 1, they can get through those 2. And remember, that's not days and days and days of direct instruction. That's a couple days of direct instruction and a couple days of working, and then some homework in there, and the kids can get those things done in month 1. If anything, I'd say this is probably the most important stage. So if it takes longer, then you're right on track still, because the kids learning and understanding their problem is paramount. Then in month 2, I would send them out to share what they've learned and give back to their community. And then in month 3, they kind of put together their presentation, they finish it all up, and then they present to the community. Finally, I want to encourage you guys to think about how you can get other teachers on board. At the high school level, teachers typically work on teams. I'm sure it's the same way in the middle school level. If your whole team can do this together, your whole ELA team, if you can involve teachers from other subjects, if you can involve the community, your division head, your principals, your assistant principals, the more adults involved, the more successful this project will be. Students really love, at my school, we do this as a sophomore final exam project. And so the entire sophomore class, I think it's like 350 of students, all of them are there on the night that we present our projects. It's a really powerful moment for these kids, because they say, like, that's the sophomore thing. They've got their one big memory from sophomore year, and it is be the change. So if you guys can put aside one night, get all of your students and teachers involved, and it's going to be a memorable moment for everybody involved, but especially the kids. That's going to be the one thing that they take with them into their next years of learning, into college, into even their early adulthood, is remembering, yeah, I remember my Be the Change project. So this concludes video number 1, getting started. Please tune in to our next couple videos to talk about the other things that are really important. We'll go back, we'll take a look at those in just the next video. Thanks, guys. See you later.